Welcome to the Making of Me podcast, where we dive deep into the journeys that shape resilience, in-out growth, and the power that transform our life from the inside out. Our today's guest is Regena Ozeryansky, a national recognized as the internal peace regulationist. Regina is the bestseller author, transformation speaker, young and conscious entrepreneurs who help individuals and organizations cultivate radical inner peace while creating meaningful external success. From a career in real estate to leading global communities like the Conscious Investor Collective and the Internal Peace Now movement. Original guide change makers and leaders to rise through alignment, integrity, and accountability, not hustle. Her work blends mindfulness, meditation, nervous system regulator, holistic leadership, offering practical strategy to lasting calm, clarity, purposeful impact. It's really a pleasure to have you on the show, Regina.
Thank you. Thank you, Ara, for having me. I'm very grateful.
Yeah, thank you. So, Regina, what were some of the challenges or moments that shape you into who you have become today?
This is a good question. I would say in the last couple years, there's been some very challenging things that have come my way. One of them is family health and dealing with, aging parents. It's definitely not easy. And also my own health, my own mental health, and just how much I can handle. Some days I wonder the human experience is not for the weak. It really, I think, is the invitation to remind us who we are and how strong we truly are.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Also, you have gone through multiple episodes of depression and suicidal ideation. How did those experiences shape the way you approach peace and leadership?
Well, I believe nothing happens by accident. I believe we experience things to often shape our way of being in the world, and so I think it allows me a sense of compassion and grace for others. I feel because of my experience, I can relate to a lot of people and the pain that they experience.
Yeah, amazing. Thanks for sharing. Also, how can someone begins to regulate their nervous system when they feel overwhelmed or chronically stressed?
One way I would say is just to choose. I know it sounds very easy and sometimes maybe too easy, but when a person is really suffering, one of the things that I continue to remind myself is that suffering, it really is a choice. Pain is not a choice. Pain happens to all of us, whether we admit it or not. Life isn't always easy, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be perpetually painful, right? The pain is often, I believe, a messenger to teach us how to use our pain as a teacher. And when we're able to do that, I think it really makes a difference, and it can drastically shift how we experience life.
Yeah, pain is often a messenger. Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Also, conscious capitalism and mindful leadership are central to your teaching. How do they connect to inner peace?
It comes back to making good choices, being a steward of our money, of our decisions. Where do we put our money, right? If we're working very hard and we're putting our effort into things that are making the world a better place, then that in itself is power. And it's not always easy to do that. Sometimes we need to, I'm guilty of that too. Sometimes I choose convenience over, maybe if there's a choice between two things, I may sometimes take the easier choice because of other life priorities and situations. There was a time when I would struggle with making choices because I wanted to make the perfect choice. And that also is very unhealthy, and that can create stress and that can create anxiety. Trying to find, everything eco-friendly can also stress a person out. So majority of the time, making good choices and doing your best to be a conscious capitalist, I think that's a great strategy and a great way to start. And we're not going to get it right 1,000% of the time. So it's important to be graceful with ourselves too.
Be grateful with ourselves rather than more like make good decision a bit faster rather than stressing yourself over things that might not speak volumes at that particular state in time. So many people actually confuse busy work with productivity. How do you help leaders shift from hustle to alignment?
Well, I think it's number one is being aware of it. I still sometimes catch myself when I overextend myself in my schedule, for example. I'm often in one city and then the next city in the same day. So I travel a lot,
Yeah.
whether it's by car or train. And just noticing, how does my body feel? Does my body feel stressed out? Am I eating right? Am I sleeping? Am I drinking enough water? Today, I'm definitely guilty of not drinking enough water. And when we finish here, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But these little reminders, our body is a very good communicator when we listen. And so when we're able to actually hear what the body's saying, it's very...
Yeah, amazing. Listen to what the body say, and actually more like being able to put one or two things in order towards regaining. Yeah, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So, can you share more like a simple mindfulness or meditation practice that anyone can integrate into their day or for immediate stress relief?
Yeah, I think one thing that's people can do is breath work. It's a really easy thing to do. So taking a few deep breaths, like we can do it now. I'm happy to guide us in that. I would recommend putting our feet on the floor and then rolling our shoulders back. Taking a nice big deep breath, maybe closing the eyes, palms open, and just taking a couple breaths, even just 3 breaths. Nice big deep breath, and then gently exhale. And then doing that maybe 2 more times. Nice big deep breath. And then exhale, and one more nice full deep breath, and exhale. And even something gentle like that can make a
Yeah,
huge difference.
yeah, it really does. It's really amazing. Yeah, thank you. So, how do you guide people in turning our chaos into clarity and burnout into breakthrough?
How do we do that? Well, one way is things like what we just did,
Yeah,
little practices that just remind us to stay in our bodies. Gentle things like taking a walk after, people that are, for example, entrepreneurs that are on phone calls back to back, right? Sometimes we don't make space in between appointments. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but making those continuous and consistent choices to create that space, it's really important. Even if it means just getting up after every single call and taking 5 minutes and going for a walk. Those things really make a difference.
yeah, amazing. Taking a walk in between the various schedule, I think yeah, lovely, really good stress other than just sitting down or through this particular regimen. Yeah, amazing. Thank you. Yeah, you often speak about intentional manifestation. How does inner peace support creating the life and impact someone truly desires?
Yeah, I think one of the ways is just making choice, right? Choice of what is it that brings me peace.
Mm,
So, for example, even today, when I think about what is it that brings me joy, and eliminating those things that don't. It can be simple, like if there's a specific friend that takes up a lot of time or energy, and being really honest with with oneself, and asking, am I giving this person too much attention, or this activity, right? Maybe there's an activity that's not a great use of time. It could be like watching the news, right? So taking inventory of our lives and actually admitting to ourselves, when I watch the news, I feel stressed, I feel anxiety.
yeah,
So how about I turn off the news and I just make a decision, I make a choice.
yeah, amazing, amazing. Getting to know what more like bring peace and yeah to you, and actually more like choosing those who doesn't, and actually more like taking them out of time. Yeah, amazing. So, what was one of the biggest lessons or mistake that transformed your own approach to life and leadership?
I remember when I was on a phone call, actually, with my mentor and with somebody from my team, and we were working on, I think it was a technology thing, it was like website or
Yeah,
something. And I remember getting really frustrated because I didn't understand what the person was trying to say, and I didn't know how to express that. So instead of expressing and saying, I'm confused and I don't know what that means, I was embarrassed, right? Because I felt like I should know what they're saying. So instead of being honest and saying, I don't understand, I got upset. And my mentor, I remember in the chat, she wrote, Regina, where's the peace?
yeah,
And I'll never forget. It was like right in my face. And from that is one of many moments where I just laugh and I just ask myself, where is it? Like, it's not here right now. It went away, it went for a walk. So it kind of brings me back to the moment. It helps me remember what really matters. And, another perfect example today, I had a issue with my car this morning and I wasn't expecting it. And so I was thinking, oh my God, here it goes again. I have to spend another $1,500 on my car when I didn't expect it. And it's like, and then I went to the mechanic shop that I know very well. I trust the shop. And I just said, you know what? I'm here. It's a beautiful day outside. What can I be grateful for? I have my legs, my arms, my family. I have my health. Money's money. And then I found out that it was not $1,500. It was only going to be $200. So all of a
Good.
sudden it went from like up here to down here, right? So I think it's interesting when we can remember what life is truly about. And yeah, of course, it's okay to be upset. It doesn't mean that we have to walk around like Buddha all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are going to get upset. We are going to get sad. If we're not feeling something, if we're not feeling depressed once in a while or sad, we also can't experience joy and we can't experience bliss and safety and all the beautiful things that create all the emotions. So I think it's really important to remember that this human experience encompasses all of it.
Yeah, amazing. Human experience encompasses all of them, but the happy moments of the ups and downs that comes with it. That's what make it
That's right.
life really interesting. Just yeah, take them with a peaceful heart. Amazing. So lastly, looking at your journey from personal struggling to guiding others globally, what will you say is the key to sustaining peace in both personal and professional life?
I think it comes down to just choosing joy, choosing to be happy. Like you said, there are always ups and downs. There's always going to be somebody who has more and someone who has less. But the reality is what am I doing about it? What am I doing today to create joy in my life? And it's not going to be every second. It's going to be each moment that I don't have it is an invitation and a reminder that it's available. Gratitude for me is a really, really big one. Even bad things when they happen, I do my best to find the good because there's always something to be grateful for. Always.
There is always something to be grateful for. And I think that's a very lovely perspective. Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you so much. So, Regina, for my audience, how can they reach out to you and where is the best platform?
So the best way to reach me is actually through right now Instagram or on my website. I have a quick quiz that I offer. It's free and it's just to see how stressed a person might be. We give some great tips on how to eliminate stress or reduce it, and it literally takes less than a minute to take the test, the quiz. So that's the best way.
Yeah.
Super grateful for those that feel inspired to join us and to learn more.
Yeah, thank you so much, Regina. Thank you. Your work just reminds us that true success isn't measured by how busy or productive we are. It's about how aligned and fully present that we can be in every moment. And thank you so much. And for my audience who would love to reach out to Regina, check the show notes and definitely get to see the link where you could actually reach out to her. Once again, it's a pleasure and an honor having you on the show, Regina.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ava. Nice meeting you.